right, 22 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I haven't watched him in a while, but for a while I was a big fan of Anthony Bourdain. I used to like watching Anthony Bourdain. If you've ever seen him, I think he was on the Food Channel. I think he was on the Travel Channel, and I think now he's on CNN, right?
Yeah.
But the reason I liked watching him because he's a trained chef, and he wasn't a fast food guy. He was an actual chef.
Right, exactly.
And so he'd go to all these places and eat these things. And so now we have a book here that is not just. I mean, it's kind of hard to watch every episode, but this in one book we're going to be able to tell you where all the chefs eat. On the phone to tell us about this book is Joe Warwick, who I believe is the author of the book. Is that right? Who
Yes.
put it together?
Yep.
Based in London, is that right?
Yes.
The book is called Where Chefs Eat, a guide to chefs' favorite restaurants, and you might use it handy for this coming Saturday if you're looking for a Valentine's Day date. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Are you in London right now?
I am sat in London right now. Yeah, I wish I was in Florida. That's where you are, right?
I wish I was in London. See, the grass is always greener on the other side of the ocean, right?
This time of year, you want to be in Florida, trust me. My parents used to live in Florida. It's lovely this time of year.
So how were you able to figure out where the chefs eat all over the world?
Well, what we've done with this book is we surveyed 600 chefs around the world, and we asked them to pick restaurants for different things. So we asked them where they like to go for breakfast, where they went late at night, to pick their regular neighborhood joints, their local favorites, bargain places, high-end places, places they wish they'd open, and places that they think are worth the travel, whether that's in their own region or when they go overseas. And what we've ended up with is a very eclectic mix of places. I think it's 2,257 last time I counted.
Wow.
Around the world, and the idea being it's not just those obvious places that everyone knows about. Although some of them are in there, the French Laundry's in there, and Per Se and Noma and Copenhagen. Some of those world famous restaurants are in there, but it's more about the quirky places. That's what I find.
Oh, really? Okay.
I love that.
So how do we use the book? Do we look up by food or do we look up by city?
You can look up by chef. So the chefs are listed at the front. You can look up by city. You can look up by region, and the easier way to. I mean, the book is great for flicking through, but it's about the size of a concise Oxford dictionary, so it's not the most portable of books. So we've done an app as well, and the app is a lot easier and a lot quicker to search through than the book if you're kind of short on time, and it also does stuff with location services. So if you've got it on your iPhone and you walk past one of the restaurants that's nearby, it'll pop up and tell you where it is and come up with maps and telephone numbers and all that sort of stuff.
Everybody has their own opinion of where you can get the best pizza in the world. That's always the way they say it. I got the best. So does this book finally settle the argument?
Well, what sort of pizza?
Oh, boy.
Do you want a Naples pizza? Do you want a Chicago deep dish pizza? Do you want to, pizza. I'd say probably Naples for pizza.
Naples.
I mean, that would be my personal, not Naples, Florida.
Oh, okay.
but yeah, Naples in Italy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I have something to tell everybody because everybody always tells me this is the best pizza joint in the world. In the world. How do you know? How do you figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, it's so subjective with picking restaurants. And I think what's interesting about this is because the chefs are putting their names on these choices, it means something. It's not kind of, anonymous online, who's writing this, what's their agenda. If they're recommending a place and they send you there for breakfast or, for lunch, and it's no good, that's almost as bad as you going to their restaurant and having a bad meal because you're thinking, why should I go to this guy's restaurant?
Good point.
He can't even pick out a breakfast joint, So I think their recommendations have currency and are interesting.
So did you personally visit all of these recommendations you have, or was this like a conglomeration between you and your chef friends, or how did you decide?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd be dead. There's 2,500 places. How many have I been to? I haven't worked out yet. I've probably been to a decent chunk. I do travel a lot, but I mean, this is a valuable guide for me when I turn up somewhere that I haven't been before, there's always a good basic list of places to start looking at. So this is about the chef's choices. They've picked these, they've recommended them for particular things, and they've said why they like them for those particular things. So I really couldn't have done the book without the chefs. They've been very generous with their time, and they're a good source of recommendations. They haven't let me down yet.
I think the only restaurants in Florida in this book are in Palm Beach and in Miami. I think there's no other cities in the book from Florida.
Yeah, there's Fort Lauderdale, there's Miami Beach, North Miami Beach, Palm Beach. There's loads of places in Florida.
Okay, but I guess nothing around here, huh? Nothing in the middle of the state? Nothing in nothing in Disney World?
I don't think there's anything up that way. No, I mean, it's mostly Miami. Got lots of places in Miami, obviously. Got some places in Fort Lauderdale.
So can I ask you a question? What are your thoughts on the new way that people rate restaurants, which is with the internet, with the star system, which is not chefs but everyday people? Sometimes I think those are misleading.
I think they are misleading. It's just sort of like I was saying before. I think the problem with what if we're talking about TripAdvisor or Yelp or this kind of thing. What's the agenda of the people doing the reviews? How much do they actually know? And I think the way you know about things, whether it's music or theater or restaurants or cars or whatever, is to have some experience and be able to put places in context and compare them to other places. And those online reviews, there's some very good blogs that are very informative and very well written and very well researched, and then there's ones that aren't. It's like everything else. But yeah, I think you look for a voice you trust, and I don't trust a lot of the stuff I read online.
Do you ever try to recreate a meal that you've really thought was fabulous in one of the restaurants at home?
I'm not that good a cook, but I mean, there'd be little tips you'd pick up, ingredients, or maybe the way they did something. Perhaps I couldn't possibly. It would depend what the meal is. I've learned how to cook steak by talking to chefs. I've learned how to do stir fries properly, how to make pasta and things like that. But I'm not an ambitious cook.
Joe,
I'm not an ambitious cook. I'm a basic cook.
Joe, thank you so much for being on the phone with us today. The book is called Where Chefs Eat. How do we get the book?
Website's called wherechefseat.com. You can buy it direct from the publisher there, or you can go to Amazon or your local bookstore. We're on Twitter at wherechefseat. It should be easy to find anywhere that sells books.
Excellent.
And the app is available from the Apple App Store.
Okay, excellent. Joe Warwick, Where Chefs Eat. Thank you so much, Joe. We'll be right back.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lillian Wu. The White House and the parents of the American woman held by ISIS confirming Kayla Mueller has died.
The president and Mrs. Obama conveyed their deepest condolences to the Mueller family.